My next rigging that I want to show you is, it used to be, man, earlier this summer every video that I posted or every live that I went, I was all about the wacky rig. I've kind of come off it now. I've kind of entered in the Texas rig mood, I guess, lately. But what I'll run a lot of times is a wacky rig. And there's different wacky rig tools and different things like that. That's one thing that I really like about the Deep Creek lure, is one of the complaints about the Senko from Yamamoto is it only lasts a fish, maybe two if you're crazy lucky. But there's whatever they make them out of, and what they make them out of allows them to fall the way they want them to fall and different things. But what I've noticed is the Deep Creek, man, they fall just as well, and they'll shimmy on their way down. But what you do is, and if I'm not worried about it, I usually just half my worm, and then I'll go and just go right in the middle, maybe a little bit on the low side, and my hook is just sitting crossway like that. And so it can still flutter all the way down like this, and it'll flutter, and then you can pop it up, and that's what it ends up doing in the water. Fish cannot stand it, okay? I'll also run this, and I'll go and skip to another presentation. I'll run this on a drop shot as well. And so one thing that I do is I get just the cheapest lead drop shot weights, or I'm not sure what these are called, but I use, and the size will depend on how deep you're fishing, how fast you want to get down there. And so I'll run this on a drop shot where that hook will be suspended in the middle. I'll give myself a big tag in, and I'll tie this on the bottom. That way I can just set this on the bottom, and this bait's just in the middle. And what I'll do is I'll go slack line, and it'll shimmy on its way down, and then I'll go back to a tight line, and I'll shimmy on the way down. And so that's a great rigging for me. Now, there's another option here. If you don't have that weight on the end, one thing that I've seen a lot of people start doing, now I don't have a lot of success with it, but I know there's people that do. Maybe I'm just not patient with it enough, but they have these nail style weights, and I hope the camera's focusing in on these things. But I got these nail style weights, and if I want to fish and just put just a little bit on the end, I can break that nail off and only have two in it. I'm still staying with the wacky rig, with the wacky rig Senko. But what I'll do is on the fat end, not the pointy end of the Senko, I'll take that nail weight and gotta stick the tongue out for it. I'll stick that nail weight all the way in there. And then what I'll do is, instead of rigging it straight in the middle, I'll wacky rig it still, but I'll wacky rig it really close to that weight. And so then that's what it looks like, but in the water, that nail weight's gonna drag down, and it's gonna be standing up on the end where you can pop it up, and it'll do its thing, and then it'll come back down, and it'll stand up on that end a lot. I think that's called the Nekorig. You can Google that. I probably should have done some research before, but I know there's a name for it, but I think it's the Nekorig, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But that's all really centered around the wacky rig, and this is the Nekorig with the nail weight on the end. So I got Texas rig, I got weighted Texas rig. We talked about the wacky rig. We talked about the drop shot using the wacky rig. And then there's one more, and this is a funny one. I can't remember, I don't know if it has a name. I've seen it before several times. But one thing that I'll do is, let's not use this one. One thing that I'll do is I'll take my regular Texas rig, and this is usually my Texas rig pole. And you see I got my EWG hook, and I will regularly Texas rig this. I'll take this, put it up there, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. This presentation is years old, I'm sure. What I'll do is I'll Texas rig that, and then about, maybe a foot, 12, 18 inches, I'll go on and put a little bullet shot, a little split shot. Don't try that at home. And then that basically looks like a very cool looking finesse Carolina rig. I'm sure they got a name for that too. I ain't the smartest, you know, I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed or whatever you want to call it, but I'll Texas rig this and I'll throw a little split shot down there. And then what that does, it just speeds up my descent rate a little bit more, and it gets a little float to it. And it basically acts like a Carolina rig. I can just pop it off the bottom, and then it's kind of suspended there. It speeds up that drop a little bit. So that's 5 great ways right there to run a Texas rig. I'll take pictures of all these, and I'll flash them on the end. So I hope that it helps you. I hope that maybe this is a good step. Again, if you're a new angler and maybe they're using some of these videos that you're watching or using different vocabulary that you're not sure about. Texas rig, weighted, weightless, drop shot, wacky rig, Nekorig. I'm pretty sure that's it. I'm not sure what the name of this one is. You can leave it in the comments. I just call it a finesse Carolina rig, and I've seen that somewhere recently, and I tried it, love it. So if you haven't tried it, give it a shot and see what you think. The Nekorig, again, I don't use it as much, but I know people kill on it because they fish it really slow, and that weight just drops that Senko on the bottom, and it kind of stands up, similar to like a finesse shaky head or something like that. It's probably a bad analogy, but any comments or any help that you can give people in the section or on this video, let me know. Anything I did wrong, let me know. If you would do it differently, let's start that conversation, because there's plenty of anglers out there that are just unsure about certain vocabulary or certain rigging or certain things. Most importantly, if you're not fishing a Senko, you've missed out on a bunch of fish. If you're not fishing a stick bait. And again, I can't be too complimentary of Deep Creek lures. That's the Senko that I fish. So leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're new to this, so we're still learning. We appreciate you stopping by. Always looking for fish.